Ah! I went to the scoreboard. There we go. Oh, that's not the right button. Which one? P. There we go. Okay, I think that was everything. Let me make sure. Yep. Okay, get the scoreboard back. Perfect. Okay, welcome in to game number 2 of week 1 of the Chobo Team League between Clarity Gaming and Team Guns N' Roaches. Spawning... Oh, I messed up the score. Meh. I was doing everything so perfectly, and then... nothing. So spawning down in the lower right-hand position of Akalon Wace, in the purple color playing Terran for Team Clarity Gaming, it is Firestorm. And across from him in the upper left-hand corner, playing Zerg for the Team Guns N' Roaches, with his team up 1-0, he's going to look to extend that lead. It's QBall. So we saw in Game 1 kind of an interesting little PvP, the 3-gate pressure, working out for Clarity Gaming's Imvo. And now we'll head into Game number 2. This is our first Silver League match, and both of these players actually have been recently promoted to Gold. So congratulations to both QBall and Firestorm. And it means that we should see a pretty good game, honestly, from both of these players. And I'm really looking forward to it. TVZ, probably my favorite matchup to watch or cast. Being a little bit biased as mostly a Terran player. So anyway, we do see the refinery going down. And openings for Terran in this matchup kind of boil down to three things. You do a Reaper expand, you do a command center first, or you do something weird. And Firestorm looks to be headed down that Reaper path so far. And that's always good. It gives you a lot of valuable scouting information, and it does just a lot of good. Honestly, the 50 minerals, the 50 gas is worth it just for the scouting information. If you manage to get one drone kill, all of a sudden it's just fantastically worth the amount of resources that you invested into it. So QBall going to go for a hatchery first, or not a hatchery first, spawning pool followed by a hatchery, excuse me, and he'll look to crank out some of that economy. And we'll see exactly how these players want to play it out. We saw our bronze players, one of them sticking more to sort of a professional style build order, the other one kind of doing what he wanted to. And silver can be the same way at times. You'll see some very professional looking timing attacks or some really scary build orders and timings. And at the other end, you'll see people just kind of make units that they want to make. And either style very valid as long as it helps you to improve. Again, the stated goal of Chobo Team League is to get all of our Chobos into Masters League, and we don't have any who've made it yet this season, but we have had a couple in the past, so congratulations to all of those Chobos who have made it in the past. If you're just joining us, missed Game 1, want to check it out, you can... Eventually, I will have every game uploaded to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/meristematic.sc. I'll try to get it into the Chobo Team League channel as well, if you're looking for that. And, yeah, QBall gets in. He does a little bit of a scout, kind of a weird timing to actually scout at, but he sees everything at the front. And then he's actually going to see everything... Oh, the depot raised by Firestorm just in time to block that out. But he's actually not going to kill that Zergling, which is... a little bit funny. This Marine and this Zergling are just going to coexist peacefully. And QBall checking to make sure his opponent doesn't have that expansion right away. And interestingly enough, we're not seeing that Reaper at all. This is going to be Reactored Hellion opening from Firestorm, which is one of my favorite openings. Kind of classic throwback to Wings of Liberty. Gets a lot of map pressure. You can really control your opponent's ramp and his creep spread with that. QBall's rallying a couple of Zerglings across the map. This could actually be, I don't want to say devastating timing, but this could do quite a bit of damage, honestly. 7 Zerglings at this stage of the game. There's only 2 or 3 Marines out. There's the Hellions finally. Those should be able to do everything that they need to do, but he's gotten a couple of Marine kills. He's kind of just delayed everything, really trying to get trying to be a little bit overly cute with the micro there. I hate that. These buildable plates, you just accidentally click on them and things just kind of warp to them. But Firestorm does manage to clean up that little Zergling attack. We'll actually see if that was worth it. Not quite. Looks like about 25 worse on the resources for qBall there. But it's kind of a cute little idea, a nice little timing. If your opponent was really skimping on his Marines, you could do a lot of damage, or if you'd already had his orbital down here, you could get a couple of SCV kills. It was a nice little idea. So anyway, the Hellion's going to come in. There's only 2 of them, so they don't kill anything particularly fast. Getting a little bit of scouting information, making sure that his opponent's keeping honest, making a couple more units to make sure he can deal with it. And we'll see. Misclick. There we go. There should be a couple more Hellions, and we'll see where Firestorm wants to transition. Oh, Marauders. This is the classic sort of Wings of Liberty style timing, the Hellion Marauder timing attack. You can upgrade that to a Heart of the Swarm style Hellbat Marauder timing attack, which is exactly what we're going to see Firestorm doing. This is a great timing to work on. This is kind of, I don't want to say fundamental Terran timing at this point in Heart of the Swarm, but it's a very good timing to have in your belt, and it's very difficult to deal with for the Zerg players. So we'll see how qBall does. You can't lose your Hellions, though. Nice pin, nice block there by qBall as he picks off 2 of the Hellions for free. A little bit of kiting going on. Gets a couple of Zerglings in return. But you need to keep all of your units alive if you're going for this timing attack. Each Hellbat is worth so much once you get them out. But if you start to lose them needlessly... Oh, he's just going to go for Hellbat drops. Oh, I wanted the timing. Anyway, I guess a little bit more background information on me. I'm very, very fond of timing attacks. It shows a lot of creativity in your build order if you come up with your own personal timing attack, put a little spin on some professional timing, and it allows you to get aggressive while still having a backup plan to fall back on. Taking the Watchtower here by qBall, I believe that he should have seen the medevac. I'm not entirely sure because I mixed up my hotkeys. But doesn't look like he's reacting to this. There are a couple of roaches out, so this shouldn't do too much damage, but the Hellbats do land in the natural. You have to control them, make sure that they do attack drones, otherwise they will go after the Queen. Kind of a difference between this and the other 2 matchups, and he's just going to pick up those Hellbats. A couple of workers roasted, up to 3 workers killed. Not worth it just yet, but getting away with the medevac and the Hellbats, he can go back for a return drop at any point. Meanwhile, we do have a little bit of aggression forming here for qBall. There aren't any medevacs back at home, so a lot of this damage is pretty terminal on these units. Nice quick surround on a couple of those units. Banelings don't do a huge amount to any of those units, and now Roaches versus Marauders, that's not too fun for Roaches. Typically, they're going to pick off another Hellbat or 2, but it will be cleaned up, and so that little pressure didn't do much for qBall, but we can see his supply lead extending because Firestorm got a little bit lax in his supply depot numbers. We saw him get supply blocked for quite a while, now finally starting to catch back up in those, but he was blocked at, I think it was 45 for quite a while. So we'll see. Looks like 1 more worker killed. We can check resources lost. A little bit worse for qBall, but he's bringing in quite a few more resources. Worker count, 29 drones to 30 SCVs. So this entire supply difference is going to be in army supply, which means that these armies fighting head-to-head, the synergy of the medevacs with these units is going to be very good. We'll see if it can plow through. This is a lot of roaches, though, for qBall. This is a very important fight. The one Hellbat in the back actually not doing anything is gigantic. There's Stimpack is just finished for Firestorm, but he has to retreat for now. Needs to get those Hellbats back in front of the fight. Oh, another Marauder getting picked off by qBall, and he's continuing his pressure. A couple of Banelings walking in. He can split off a couple of these Banelings, go detonate on these workers, and get some nice damage done. But for now, we enter... Oh, nope. Standoff's over. qBall headed up the ramp with this Roach Baneling attack. Stim is done. I don't know why he's not stimming. A lot of these units dying. The Hellbats have to be picked up and dropped. You need to drop them in front of the army. This isn't quite enough units here for Firestorm, and qBall is overrun the natural expansion and is pushing in toward these SCVs. A couple of them will go down, and we'll see how much more pressure qBall wants to put on. If he makes a couple of Banelings, he can just go up and bust and probably end this game, but instead going to go up with Pure Roach, targeting down the depot. There's no SCVs that have actually been pulled to repair this, so it's going to go down, and qBall's up into the main. Can these couple of units hold on? SCVs all being pulled to try to fight. They've formed this nice wall, which means that the Marauders are actually doing a ton of damage. Still not stimmed, though, which is actually really concerning. That stim just allows the Marauders to chew through anything, but without that stim pack, they're just not don't hit as fast. So qBall going to be forced back for now. He could turn and take down a couple of these SCVs. Nice little micro there. How many have gone down? 10 now have gone down. And if we look at the worker tab, qBall actually has the drone advantage by 1. He could use these medevacs. Those should probably pull back here. Widow Mine's at the top of the ramp, and this is... Firestorm's just going to try to turtle it out. We see he's still got a reasonable amount of SCVs mining along with these up at the front just to repair some units. Oh, he did find those medevacs. He is pulling them back. You can use them to spot, but they're way more valuable to try to heal these units. So can he hold the top of the ramp? The Widow Mine's already been detonated. Hit some roaches, not the most valuable target. The supply depot finishes and then is immediately burned up by all these roaches. Zergling's at the back, still not doing anything. Not the best micro here from either player, but qBall's starting to cut through. All the SCVs now are dead. More and more units starting to rally out, which means Firestorm's doing a good job with his macro, continuing to produce units while being under so much pressure. But I don't think it's going to matter. qBall up now by over 90 supply, forced his way up into the main. The rest of the SCVs being pulled. And there's the GG from Firestorm. So Guns and Roaches going to take one back as qBall wins silver match number 1. So we'll be tied up at 1 as we head into our first gold match of the game. Really well done. qBall just hitting, well, first holding off the Hellbat drop and that early timing pretty well, only losing a couple of workers, and then continuing to macro really well. He's transitioned into roaches and just started to plow down his opponent's front door. We see no upgrades from anybody, and Firestorm just didn't quite have the units. He got caught in the middle of the map without his upgrades done, and that was a little bit rough. And then he just didn't stim, which is a big mistake. You need to stim, especially if you have medevacs. You can start to cut through your opponent's units a little bit faster. Could have looked a little bit more even, but I think qBall just with a little bit better macro in that game and played pretty well. So Guns and Roaches ties it up at 1, and we'll head into gold match number 1. You're watching Chobo Team League, casted by Maristmatic.